So, we hear about AI all the time, right? How it's changing medicine, finance, you name it. But what about the very blueprint of our lives, the cities we live in? Well, it turns out AI is quietly starting a revolution in one of the oldest professions there is, urban planning. Let's dive in. To really get what's happening, we need to start with a pretty wild idea. What if we just stopped thinking about our cities as bricks and mortar, and instead we imagined them as a massive, complex, ever-evolving piece of software? And here's the thing that makes this so powerful, this analogy. It actually holds up. The mental gymnastics a planner goes through to design a new neighborhood is shockingly similar to how a developer thinks when they're writing code. And that one single insight, that's the key that unlocks everything we're about to talk about. Okay, so let's get specific. What does this city as code idea really look like in practice? Once you see the direct parallels between planning and software engineering, it becomes crystal clear why AI tools built for coders are suddenly a planner's new best friend. And this table just lays it out perfectly. A planner gets a messy map file and has to fix all the errors. That's debugging. They have to read a super dense 100-page zoning ordinance to figure out what's allowed. That's just code understanding. And my favorite, designing a whole new plan for an area, that is literally implementing a new feature. The jobs are basically the same. So if the city is an operating system, what are the new apps planners get to use? Let's look at how these AI tools are solving some of the most frustrating, long-standing problems in the field. Anyone who has ever worked with public data knows this pain. You get a spreadsheet from the Parks Department and one from Transportation, and nothing matches. The column names are different, the formats are all over the place. Planners can seriously spend half their week just trying to clean this mess up before they can even begin to do their actual job. So, enter the first AI tool. The best way to think of it is like a universal translator from Star Trek, but for data. You just feed it all the messy, mismatched files, and it just figures it out. It understands the context and puts it all together automatically. And the result is absolutely massive. What used to be hours upon hours of tedious, error-prone work, like manually telling the computer that ST name means street, now happens in minutes. This isn't just a small bump in efficiency. This is the total game changer. Okay, here's another headache that every single city hall faces. A builder submits their plans, but the application is missing a key form, or they forgot a signature on page 42. The entire process grinds to a halt while a city employee has to manually check it, find the error, and send it back. The AI solution for this is just brilliant. It's like an intelligent gatekeeper or a bouncer at a club. It stands at the digital front door and checks every single application to make sure it's complete before it ever wastes a human's time. It doesn't make a judgment call. It just checks if all the boxes are ticked. And before a tool like this, you can see how planners spend their days. It's just dominated by that low-level administrative checking. Their actual professional expertise, the very reason they were hired, gets squeezed into whatever little time is left over. But now, look what happens when the AI takes over that gatekeeper role. The whole thing flips. Administrative work just plummets, freeing up planners to spend their time on what truly matters: high-level professional review, critical thinking, and making better long-term decisions for the community. And this brings us to a really, really crucial point. This is not about replacing human planners. It's about augmenting them. It's about giving them superpowers that let them do things that were never possible before. The perfect way to think about this is like an exoskeleton. The suit doesn't replace the person inside, it just amplifies their natural strength and abilities. That's exactly what AI does for a planner's brain. It takes their domain knowledge and gives it a massive boost. So what can a planner with an AI exoskeleton actually do? Well, they can become a kind of full-stack planner. They don't need to be a coder to tell the AI to write a Python script. They can run complex statistical models in seconds. They can generate 3D models from a simple sketch. One person can now do what used to require an entire team of specialists. But, and this is a huge but, there are hard limits. Some tasks have to remain human. Think of community engagement as a human firewall, a process that technology can support but can never, ever be allowed to replace. And this gets right to the heart of it. Building a city is not just a technical problem, it's a deeply human one. Efficiency is not the goal of democracy. An AI can analyze 10,000 public comments, sure, but it can't sit in a town hall meeting and help a divided community find common ground.
That requires trust and negotiation, skills that are purely human. So, knowing all this, how should cities and governments actually start using these powerful new tools? Because it's not about just buying some software, it's about changing how people work, and that requires a really smart, careful strategy. First things first, there's a critical warning. It's called the autopilot trap, or sometimes the paradox of supervision. And it's this weird idea that the better and more reliable an AI gets, the more we have to be on our guard. Here's how the trap works. The AI handles a task flawlessly, over and over again. Because we're not doing it ourselves anymore, our own manual skills start to get rusty. Then, one day, the AI makes a rare but really critical mistake, and we might not even have the muscle memory left to spot it. The solution actually comes straight from aviation. Airline pilots spend most of their time on autopilot, but they're still required to spend hours in simulators practicing manual emergency landings. Planners need to do the same. They have to deliberately set aside time to practice their core skills to stay sharp enough to be an effective supervisor of the machine. So, the smartest way to start is with what's called the trust ramp. You don't jump in by letting an AI approve a skyscraper. No, you start with small, low-stakes, paper-cut fixes, those annoying little tasks. As your team sees it working and learns to trust it, you gradually ramp up to more and more complex jobs. You have to earn that trust over time. And that leaves us with the final, big question. All the evidence suggests that AI is not going to replace planners. But will planners who use AI replace those who don't? Because that's the real issue. The job itself is changing. The question isn't about the technology anymore. It's about our ability to adapt. And that's something to really think about.